Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Ash again, coming to you with another great video. I know you're going to like this one because I find out that 80% of small businesses fail in their first 5 years, and over 90% of businesses fail over the next 10 years when they started today. And the reason is I'm going to go over a couple of those with you right now. But before I get into that, let me tell you a bit about myself. I went over 20 years in business consulting and helping small businesses generate more profitability, making it more efficient, better quality of life. And when we analyzed all these companies over 20 years, um, there are several factors I found that they're affecting these business owners. And I'm going to show you in this video in the next few minutes on why businesses fail and what's the mindset and the mental attitude a business owner needs to have to run a successful business, whether it's online, offline, it doesn't matter. But there's a certain type of a mindset and mental attitude you need to have to run a company. And this is what we're going to talk about. So the first thing is, if you have a notepad, take some notes because I know you're going to love this. And also subscribe and share this video as well. So first thing is, I find that if you take a look at a typical business owner, let's just take an example for a contractor or construction business or anything like that, or even manufacturing businesses. Where do most business owners start? They worked in a job. For example, a contractor worked as a construction worker in a kind of business, maybe for 5 years, 10 years. Maybe they got out of school at 18, 19, and they said, you know what? I'm going to go work for a company in whatever industry they were in. Let's just say it's a contractor. And let's say specifically it's an electrical contractor. I'll show you why. So they learned the trades of being an electrical contractor. They became a journeyman and they learned the ins and outs of how to put the conduits together, how to set up the wiring in a house or in a commercial business. They got to learn all the ins and outs of doing their job. And they are now an employee for that company. So they have a boss, they have managers they're reporting to, and they're getting good at their skill. But the skill that they're getting good at is a technical skill. Now, where I'm going with this is watch this. The technical skill helps them to make a living. And that's just what you call is just surviving isn't a job, right? That's what I believe a job is. And most people should go through a job process to learn what it's like to work for somebody else. But I think if you're looking to being a business owner, there's a different level of a mental attitude you need to have. And I'm going to get at that. So just imagine if you were an electrical contractor or any type of a skill that you learned. So you know how to do that job, or even an HVAC contractor, for example, you learned the skills of how to do it. You got good with your hands. You got good with the knowledge of how to understand that knowledge of an electrical contractor. So over the years, what happens is you go to work, come back, go to work, come back, and it's become monotonous. So after like 5 years, 10 years go by, you're now, let's say in your 30s and 40s, and you say to yourself, you start scratching your head, geez, man, another 30 years going to go by and I'm still going to be working for somebody else. So the mindset says, hey, I want to have my own business. I see my boss, he's driving a nice car. He comes into work maybe 3, 4 hours a day, and then he leaves, plays golf, whatever. And you say, man, I'm making what, 40 bucks an hour, 50 bucks an hour, maybe, or by that time, right? You're making a decent living. But the thing is, your mindset says, hey, I need to have more time. Why can't I have my own business? So that's why a small percentage of people venture out and they start their business. Now, where I'm going with this is their background is technical. They're now shifting into being a business owner. There's a different set of skills that a business owner needs to have. Because a business owner, and most business owners fail, is because when they operate, they own their own company. Let's say they start up their own business, they hire 5 or 6 employees, and they get themselves a truck or the equipment they need to run that business. They have a computer and they figure that, hey, you know what? I can manage and run this company now. I can start my own business and charge people so much. So they do their bidding and estimating on the jobs. They go out to seeing their customers. But then deep down inside, they're an employee. Think about it. This is where they came from, right? But now they have to manage their cash flow. They have to look at the receivables. They have to look at how they're marketing their business. But guess what? An employee shifting into an owner's hat, it's a different hat they're putting on. And you cannot be successful as much unless you make a shift and understanding the skills of a business owner. And that is why 80% of small businesses fail in their first 5 years, because they're working their business like a job. They're not running their business like a CEO. And as a CEO, you have to do certain things like delegation of authority, delegation of certain things that you were doing as an employee that you don't want to do them anymore because you have other more important things to do, which is to see the long term of the business. Where are you going to be? How are you going to get new clients? And that's the shift that people don't understand. And what happens is when they're working in the business, they get caught up on the day-to-day activities that they don't see the long term of where the company is headed to. So they are focusing on the day-to-day aspects, trying to collect money, and they don't have there's a big one here, watch this, the communication skills to work with their clients like a business owner works with their clients. It's a different set of skills. So what happens is that after so many years that they are working their guts out as a business owner, and guess what? There's a lot of competition, so they're forced to reduce their prices to meet that with that competition. They're doing the job of 5 or 6 different people and they're mopping the floors and they're doing other. And what happens is they lose, the big word, objectivity. They get involved with the business so much they don't see the forest from the trees. And you have the old saying that the forest from the trees is that you're caught up in the problem so much that you don't see the solution. In fact, the only solution you do see is that I gotta fix it. If it's to be, it's up to me, the old saying, right? So they've tried to fix problems on their own when they're not an expert at it. They're only an expert as an employee of that business. But if you take an objective consultant, a third party, somebody who's analyzed businesses like that, come in and look at the way what they do on a daily basis, you would find that they don't even have a job description in place. They don't have an SOP, which stands for Standard Operating Procedures. A standard operating procedure would show them, hey, in the event this happens, this is what happens. If you take a look at a pilot in a plane, they have a checklist of what happens if something goes wrong. They know exactly what to do. And therefore, they're not like stressed out if things don't go accordingly to plan because they have a backup system in place. They have a strategy in place of what would happen if their hydraulics fail, or God forbid, whatever the situation happens in the plane. In a business, you have to have operating procedures. What happens if the customer doesn't pay you in 30 days? What kind of punitive action or reward do you give them if they do pay up early or late, right? Well, you wouldn't give them a reward if they're paid late, right? You'd take some punitive action. So these things have to be written down in format. So that's why most businesses, they operate their business from their head only. They don't operate on paper. It's critical to have your business have it operation systems checked in place so you know exactly what to do if these things happen. And God forbid, if you're a business owner and you have a heart attack tomorrow morning, how would the business run without you for, let's say, a month, 2 months, without you physically showing up every day, right? How would be in place? Having a proper succession plan, having a proper valuation of a company. If you ever wanted to sell or merge, if somebody gave you an offer for your business, how do you know if it's the right price? So all of these things we get into. On my other videos, I'll talk more about that and how to set up a price for your business. But for now, if you got a value out of this, give us a thumbs up and share this video. I'm going to talk to you more about structuring your business on my next videos. In the meantime, have a great day. Bye-bye.